how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello. Hi. Today's video, first of all, candle of the day. Today we are burning the patriarchy, and no, I love this candle. I'm going to link it down below. It was featured in my Black-owned business haul. It smells amazing. And also, I am literally burning the patriarchy, which brings me immense joy on days like today. Today's video is going to be another Yass or pause. I skipped doing that like sort of cliche intro music last time because I thought you guys were, I don't know why. I was just changing it up. I was like, maybe I'll keep out the intro music. It's a little lame. And everybody was like, where was the intro music? You better bring the intro music back. So I brought it back for you. Hi. So today's video, we're going to be just talking about makeup. If you've never been to Yass or Pass before, we just talk about new releases. Am I going to buy them? Won't I buy them? I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl who spends too much money at Sephora. So let's hop right into it. I do want to say, I don't know if other people are like feeling this. I am just so not interested in makeup lately. Like new releases, there's nothing that is coming out right now that excites me. And I'm really hoping that summer is gonna sort of revitalize my love for makeup and like get me excited again. But honestly, I just have no interest. I don't know if it's the pandemic and I'm like wearing a mask all the time, so I'm just like kind of over it. I don't know if it's like anything, but the only time I ever really wear makeup anymore that's not like glowy basic makeup is when I film. That's like the only time I wear like eyeshadows anymore. And I remember eyeshadows used to be my main jam, and I just I'm like not really wearing anything except like some shimmers lately. So I'm really hoping that I will get like re-excited by makeup again. The only thing I've seen from makeup brands that I actually want are indie brands. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be the summer of like my like low-key low-buy just out of purely not caring. I mean, let's just talk about this Give Me Glow palette first because this is like a really positive thing. I am so excited about this palette. This is the Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams palette, and I truly feel like this is a pastel palette done right. First of all, Give Me Glow's formula in general, I am in love with. I have most of their palettes. I love the Vintage Rose palette. I love the one they came out with for Christmas. What was that called? Was it like the Sweet? Something like that. I love their formula. Their shimmers are to die for. They're so creamy, so beautiful, and like prismatic on the eye. Like they're gorgeous, and also their highlighters are amazing. And in my opinion, absolutely worth the price. I spent like, sitting back here, spent like $75 on this bad boy, and it was worth every penny because these are like the most, even in the pan you can see how just reflective and gorgeous they are. So I am somewhat of a Give Me Glow stan. Like I love Give Me Glow cosmetics already. So when I saw that they were coming out with this beautiful pastel palette, I just got so excited. I feel like I can actually see myself creating looks with this, like doing a purple, like a lavender all over the eye, just like a one color, really soft, pretty eye look, or using those shimmers to create some like dimension to that. Like I just think this is so beautiful. And I also love the way that they did the layout. I love that it's like purple shimmer, purple matte, orange shimmer, orange matte, green, green, yellow, yellow, pink, pink, blue, blue. Like I love how they did that. I think that is so aesthetically beautiful to look at and also easy to use. I think you cannot go wrong with any Give Me Glow palette, but this one in particular had me so excited. Like I genuinely cannot wait to buy this. I really hope that I can get my hands on it because it seems like a lot of people were interested, but I think that this is just absolutely beautiful. Like they really knocked it out of the park with this. So just based on what I know about Give Me Glow's quality, I feel like sometimes pastel palettes look very, like ColourPop's a good example, their Candyland collection. That was, I talk about it a lot, how much I hate it, but those were pastels that blended into nothing. I know that with Give Me Glow's formula, if they use the same formula, these pastels will absolutely not be blending into nothing. They will be incredibly pigmented and almost too pigmented to the point where you're gonna have to blend them down a little bit. So I'm really excited about this, and this was something from a makeup brand that I was like hype about. I also think for the time of year it's perfect just because spring, you know, we're all excited about spring. Glow Recipe is coming. I feel like Glow Recipe is kind of the new like TikTok brand. I feel like that's, I have a couple of their products that I bought purely because of TikTok. I feel like everybody is talking about Glow Recipe on TikTok, which is funny because I feel like if you listen to people like Hiram, you see this sort of anti fragrance movement happening, which I believe is right. Like, I fully believe that you shouldn't really have fragrance in your skincare that doesn't really help anything. However, it's so cute. Like, it's a little, I have the little plum serum thing and a watermelon thing, and it smells so good and it's so fun to put on. And honestly, I love the vibe of the avocado. I think that's so fun. You guys know, talk about how there's certain foods that always get me. Avocado is one of those. Like, avocado themed things just gets me so good. I don't know why. However, I think that this is very cute. Do I need it? No. Will I buy it? Probably not, because again, I don't need it. But I do think this is cute. Like, I commend Glow Recipe for really being on trend. I also think that they're really smart, and this is probably just a coincidence because I doubt they, like, you know, knew this would happen. But I think because of the rise of skincare TikTok, there are so many more young people interested in skincare than there were before. Like, Charles's little sister is like super into skincare, and she's only like 13. I never knew about skincare when I was 13. I was using like one zit cream and a moisturizer, and that's all I knew. Or like my mom's Clinique because she told me to. Like, I was not in, you know, skincare when I was that age. So I think that having products that appeal to sort of younger people in the sense that they're very cutesy, they're very sort of like maybe basic, you know, in formula, but they're cutesy, they do the job. So I think it's actually smart to kind of appeal to sort of a youthful crowd who maybe are just looking for skincare to just like play around with and just like have stuff to work with. Okay, I actually bought this. That's the thing, I guess, would be when I talk about not really being into makeup anymore, I feel like it's eyeshadow palettes. I now only get excited about makeup really when it's skin tints or like creamy concealers or like, you know, a powder. Like, that is what excites me nowadays, which is very interesting to me because 2 years ago I could not care less about foundation. But Fenty is coming out with a skin tint. I am very excited to see how this compares to some of my other favorite skin tints or skin, like tinted moisturizers, things like that, because I have a couple that I love. The one I'm wearing today is one from NARS. It's their like tinted moisturizer that's been out forever. I just hopped on that bandwagon. It's amazing. The product is so good. And I also obviously love my Cosa skin tint. I love the one from The Ordinary. I'm very interested how this one performs and how it does. Like for Fenty, I have been very hit or miss with their base products. So for example, I got their powder foundation, and while I like it as sort of a powder to set concealer or foundation, I don't find that it works well on its own as a foundation for me. And also, I wasn't a huge fan of the Fenty Dewy foundation, but I love the more like matte foundation that they first came out with, the original one. So I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to work for me. I do commend them though, because like I said, I definitely think people, whether it's because of the pandemic or because we're just kind of makeup fatigued, I think people are leaning more towards this sort of lighter makeup, not so heavy full coverage. And I think that this is a very on-trend product to be released. I think people were really asking for this. Now, Artist Couture, in addition to the palette that they launched, their sort of spring collection, the one I talked about, I believe it was last Yass or Pass, or maybe a couple Yass or Passes ago, I talked about their spring collection, and along with that, they have launched face palette. It seems like it's kind of a highlighter in the middle, and then there's two kind of blushes. The highlighters could either be blush toppers or highlighters. I actually really like this. I think it's pretty. I am not the biggest fan of face palettes anymore, just personally, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I just find that I do not reach for face palettes necessarily the same way that I do regular, just like singles. I feel like if it has a highlighter and a blush, I'm less likely to reach for it than if it was just all blushes. I do kind of like this because I feel like a lot of these shades could also work as sort of blushy tones, so they're simple enough. I think the concept, I probably won't buy this just because I don't need it, but I think the concept of this is really cool. I'm very impressed with Artist Couture as a brand. I really love them. I got the Neutral Nudes palette and have been, it's like literally one of my favorite neutral palettes of 2020. And just in general, I feel like they're coming out with stuff that's at least different and like unique and fun and something that's a little bit more eye-catching than some other brands. And I think especially because for so long, I really only knew them personally for their highlighters. They had the loose highlighters. I think it's really cool now to see them sort of expanding upon that and coming out with these different palettes. So while I probably won't buy this just because I don't need it, I don't think this is a bad launch. And I actually think these are really cute. And I also love that like peachy color. I think it pairs really nicely with the sort of green. It's like this green was their eyeshadow palette, and I think that pink pairs really nicely with that sort of green of the eyeshadow palette. So I like this launch, and I think it's cohesive too, which is cute. Juvia's Place is coming out with eye primers, and I actually think this is an amazing idea. I think I have been saying that I think somebody needs to come in and like take away the P. Louise hype a little bit, because while I think the P. Louise stuff is okay, I also think it's incredibly bad for sort of textured eyes, which is what I have. The P. Louise just does not work for me, and also I don't like P. Louise as a company anyway. However, I think this is great. I feel like the more Juvia's Place can expand past eyeshadow palettes, the better off they're gonna be. I know that they have been. They have the foundations and the blushes, and I love their highlighters. However, I feel like they are most known for their eyeshadow palettes, and as I kind of said, I feel like hype for eyeshadow palettes has been sort of slowly dwindling like a little bit. Like I feel like I don't see as much hype as I used to back in like a few years ago even. So I think that coming out with something like this is a really smart move. My hope would be to see them come out with not only more shades of this eye primer, so like more sort of like a wide variety of shades, but also coming out with like colorful eye bases, kind of like the P. Louise ones, but maybe a little bit different. I think would be so fun. I love the idea of colorful eye bases, and I really want another brand to sort of do it. So I don't buy P. Louise's because I really don't like her. So I actually think this is a really smart choice on Juvia's Place because everybody already kind of knows them and they're very famous for their eyeshadow palettes. So I think expanding upon that with these eyeshadow primers is a very good next step. I don't know if I'll buy this right now just because I just bought an eyeshadow primer from Give Me Glow that I'm working through. I don't really need more than one at a time, but this is something I could see myself picking up like in a few months. If I was just like, you know, casually shopping, I would say, oh, I'll try that. You know, it's not something I'm gonna write off forever. I don't think it's bad. Also, the price point is phenomenal. I think $12 is a really, really good price point. Okay, let's talk about the Tetris palette. NYX Cosmetics came out with a Tetris palette, and I really hate it, like a lot. Here's my thinking on this. I hate it a lot. Because number one, Tetris, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like I'm going crazy looking at this, but like, is Tetris not in shapes? Like, does Tetris, don't you have the things come down as shapes and then you mix them together? What this would have been a cool opportunity to do is number one, not make it 80 shades, because what the f***? Who is gonna use 80 shades? Like, okay, anyway, I feel like we as a community have surpassed the need for gargantuan palettes. Like, you don't need 80 shades ever in a singular palette. That is just absurd. Had they made it like 20 shades and still had this sort of square layout, but they had made it almost like, do you remember the Colored Rain, like Brights palette, where they had sort of different tones of the same color? So it was like purples, yellows, oranges, and they were all different tones, but they were like all in the same color theory. This would have been a perfect time to do that. Like, they had a lilac purple, a deep purple, a royal purple, a purple metallic, and that was one shape. And then on top of that, like coming together with that, they had oranges and they did that. And then they had blues, 40 shades, honestly. But then they had like a fully every color and every color hue of the frickin' rainbow in one palette for an affordable price that is Tetris themed. I would have been all about that. That's actually such a good idea, honestly, to do that, because it's a great excuse to have all of those colors. To randomly just make 80 shades in the most random assortments of colors and just call it the Tetris palette, when there's really, the inside has no sort of theming to Tetris, just feels so like a missed opportunity. And also, I think what bothers me about this, because brands miss opportunities all the time with stuff, this is like an obvious missed opportunity. Like, I feel like I'm not some, you know, creative genius for coming up with a better concept for a Tetris palette. I feel like most of us could put together and visualize a better Tetris palette than this one. So I'm just so confused. I'm so confused. I don't really understand why they did this. I mean, I feel like people are gonna get sucked into this because it is $45 for 80 shades, which seems like a good deal. But like, man, I remember just buy one of those BH Cosmetics 100 shade eyeshadow palettes. That's probably gonna be very similar. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's probably gonna be, I don't even know if they still make those, but if they do, just buy those, or like the Coastal Scents ones, because they're gonna be cheaper and they're probably gonna be a very similar quality. I can't imagine the quality on this is gonna be amazing when they're putting 80 shades in it. Yeah, this sucks, honestly, because it really is such a missed opportunity. This could have been very cool, and it's just, in my opinion, do not like that. Beauty Bakery is coming out with skincare. Okay, let's talk about this. I am always a little bit skeptical when I see makeup brands branching into skincare. I am weirdly way less skeptical when I see a skincare brand branching into makeup, like Tatcha, for example. I'm never skeptical about their makeup. However, makeup brands, I'm always a little bit skeptical about their skincare. However, weirdly very interested in this. Number one, I think that it's smart because I think that the trend, like I've already talked about a trillion times and like beating a dead horse talking about this. Sorry, that was insensitive to my t-shirt, but I feel like the trend is definitely moving towards skincare and like a little bit less sort of like makeup. So I think that brands turning to skincare is sort of an obvious choice, right? However, I think Beauty Bakery actually has like a really good leg to stand on here with making really cute skincare. Like this is adorable. I want to try. I'm bummed that it's not coming till 2022 because they have the Daily Bread, which is a deep cleansing exfoliating sponge, basically. So it's like a sponge shaped like a little bread thing. They have the Milk Sleep Repeat face wash, which is coming in a little like milk carton. They have the Coffee Break exfoliating facial, which again comes in like a little coffee bag. The Don't Be Chai Tea Toner Fresh Calming Essence, again, and then the Better Half My Creamer comes in a little creamer bottle, Hydra Rich Facial Moisturizer. All of this looks dope. Like I would have to be able to see like ingredients and see reviews for what it actually does for your skin, but all of that sounds amazingly cute and adorable and like a really great theme. Like if there's, it's weird because I never thought about this, but if there is a brand that it definitely works to expand into skincare, it's Beauty Bakery. Like this is such a good concept. They could really make some of the cutest skincare, and I think this is really smart for them too, because I think after some of the initial hype they got, which they have some amazing products, their flower setting powder is phenomenal. Like they have some really good products. I don't know if they've quite reached that same hype since having some of those initial products. So I think coming out with something that is relatively different in the makeup industry right now. I know there's a few other brands, like more mainstream brands that have obviously branched into skincare already, but to kind of be a little bit more ahead of the curve, because we're not seeing too many brands do that, I think is actually really smart. And I think they have the aesthetic to successfully pull off something that is this sort of adorable and like good. I really like this. I'm very interested to see reviews, and I'm very interested to try this myself because I think this is really cute. I am curious why they launched the idea behind it so soon, but maybe there's like a reason behind that, because I feel like this is for it to not be coming till January 2022, that's a very long build up to a launch, but I'm sure there's like some sort of reasoning behind that. That just seems a little bit early, but I don't know. I'm actually hype about that. I think that sounds dope. I do want to talk about and just give a shout out to Samantha March because she came out with another collaboration with Ofra. This is the Life's a Draft palette, and it has the 3 highlighters and 8 eyeshadows in it. I actually think this is really cute. It's like a purple palette. I love Ofra's highlighter formula, and if I'm remembering correctly, Samantha's last collaboration with them did very well and got really good reviews. So I'm really excited for her that she got another chance to sort of work with them again. I also think it's cute that they're selling a PR box. I love that more brands are selling PR boxes. I think that's like the cutest thing ever. And also in general, I think this is a pretty good cohesive collab, and I like the price point on it. I think especially since you're getting those 3 highlighters, it's a pretty good deal. I'm really excited for her. So congratulations to Samantha. I think that's really cool. All right, we have 2 more things I want to talk about. The first is this item from Karity Cosmetics, which is their new sort of spring eyeshadow. It's called So Amazing. It's a mermaid palette. I think this is freaking awesome. I want this so bad. I don't know why this color story calls to me the way that it does, but this looks so good. Like it looks so cute. I love the shimmer shades. If you look at the swatches, they look so sort of duochromed and gorgeous. I love the grungy greens and that sort of like almost creamsicle color orange. I can just visualize the looks I could create with this. Like I do feel like maybe given the mattes, it'll be a little bit of a one-trick pony. Like I think I'll probably only be able to do 2 sort of matte looks with it. But what I think makes that okay is that because the shimmers are so transformative and beautiful, you can end up doing way more looks with the shimmers. So I'm okay with palettes that have those sort of one-trick pony mattes, as long as the shimmers can make it transformative and different enough to be worth it. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I feel like this is a mermaid palette done right. Somebody called Tarte in that little clamshell palette they did back in 2017 that I secretly wanted really badly but didn't buy. Somebody call them and tell them this is how you do a mermaid palette. I think this is so, am I crazy? I feel like this is so good. I'm like genuinely so excited by this. Like I just feel like it's so so interesting. It's so fun. That sort of teal shimmer looks absolutely beautiful. Like, I am all about this. I think this is going to be a really cute palette. I am very, very, very excited to play around with this. Man, that is like gorgeous. I really want this one. When does this launch? Oh, it's available right now? Oh man, okay. I think I'm gonna buy this. I really, really like this one. Let me know if you guys want like a review on these palettes, these indie brand palettes, because I think that this is a really, really cool launch. I'm excited by this color story. Finally, I want to talk about something I just saw. I'm so excited about this. Patrick Ta is coming out with cream and powder bronzer duos. Okay, I do wish that I want to love this because I really love a lot of stuff from Patrick Ta. However, and I do think this is on trend. Like the cream bronzer, I think is on trend. The powder, I think it's all on trend. Personally, I have his cream and powder blush duo, and I don't like it. I really just prefer his normal standard powder blush formula. I don't really like his cream blush formula, and I also don't like the cream and the powder being mixed together. Even though he has the little cover on the cream blush, it doesn't work for me as well. I do hope that he comes out with just a bronzer, be it just a full pan of cream or a full pan of powder. I hope that he comes out with some sort of just bronzer situation, because I think that for me personally, I would like that more. However, I don't think this is a bad launch. I think it's very trendy. It's not something I'm going to buy, but I think it's very trendy. I think it makes a lot of sense for his branding. I think that likely the formula will probably be very good if you love a cream bronzer. I think that this will be pretty nice. I will say the shades, I would have to see them in person, because the swatches of the shades, the creams do look a little bit more cool toned, which for me personally, that color wouldn't match super well. So it really just depends on kind of your skin tone, but I don't think this is a bad launch. I just personally know that I probably will not get a lot of use out of it based on how I feel about his blush duos. So yeah, but I really am like crossing my fingers for a full pan of bronzer at some point from Patrick Ta, because I'm sure it would be beautiful. And with that, that is everything for me. Let me know down below what you guys are yossing or passing. Very curious to hear what you guys are interested in. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I am wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with my little social justice spotlight, which is highlighting this month the sort of rise in Asian hate crimes since the COVID-19 pandemic. Super important. Stay informed, stay involved. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!